Guys, welcome to a special series of 6 minutes. I'm Jason Fulmore, SC Wrestle, and each year the top high school boys, one from each state, is awarded by the National Wrestling Hall of Fame the Dave Schultz Excellence Award. It's based equally on outstanding wrestling success, scholastic achievement, and citizenship and community service. And each year, one is awarded for each state, and our state winners this year are in Alabama, Corey Land of Moody; in Florida, Tom Crook of Tampa Jesuit; in Georgia, Matthew Singleton of Woodward Academy; in North Carolina, in North Carolina, Kyle Monteperto of Cata; in South Carolina, David Hunsberger of Burns; and in Tennessee, Ashton Davis of Cleveland. Now, I'm not 100% sure that everyone knows who Dave Schultz is and the impact that Dave had on wrestling and the wrestling community and why this award is named after him. So I wanted to take a few minutes before the interview to explain who he is and that sort of thing. So Dave won world and Olympic championships in the early 80s, 1983 and 84. He also won silver and bronze medals throughout the 80s, but he was murdered in January of 1996. If you happen to know or have watched Foxcatcher or a number of other documentaries and movies about his life and about the situation with DuPont, you get a sense of kind of what happened in his story. But I think it's really important to talk about what the National Wrestling Hall of Fame has down in their bio about Dave Schultz. So I'm going to kind of read some of this. By his own admission, Dave wasn't, quote unquote, wasn't the greatest athlete in wrestling, but was one of the most intelligent wrestlers in the history of the sport. He once told his mentors, quote, "I cheated. I learned how to wrestle." He is the only American to win the legendary Tbilisi tournament twice. He's won the World Cup 5 times. He's won the Pan American Championships, so on and so forth. His achievements on the mat are outstanding. But Dave Schultz is probably best known for how he was off the mat. And this is how he's described. He was the greatest friend and diplomat across the nation and around the world. He always had time to talk. He always wore a smile. His sportsmanship transcended national boundaries. He learned Russian so that he could communicate with other wrestlers, and he named his son Alexander after a friendly rival from the USSR. So every year we award, or the National Wrestling Hall of Fame awards, the Dave Schultz High School Excellence Award. Congratulations to the 6 winners from our Southeast states. Corey Land also won the award for the entire Southeast, which encompasses 11 states, not just the 6 we're highlighting. And then he also was the first Alabama wrestler ever to win the national award. So congratulations to each of these 6. I hope you enjoy the interview with each of them. It was really a blast to talk to each of them. Okay. Hey, I'm here with Ashton Davis, Cleveland, Tennessee, Dave Schultz Award winner. Hey, Ashton, how's it going?
Going good. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm not as well as you. I think you just got back from Florida and spent some time on the beach. Is that right?
That's correct. Yeah. I went to Daytona for a couple of days, and then we went to Orlando to Disney World actually for a couple of days too. It's pretty fun.
Yeah, no doubt. Never too old for Disney World, right? So you are the 2022 Dave Schultz Award winner for the state of Tennessee. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And it's a huge honor. It's one of those situations where only one senior boy and one senior girl win it in the state, and you were nominated. Why don't you tell me a little bit about how you were nominated and how you found out about the award?
Yeah. So my coach, Coach Knox, he's the head coach at Cleveland, and he walked into my calculus class and just handed me a stack of papers. And he was like, "Hey, I don't know who nominated you for this award, but you were nominated." And so he told me to fill out the papers and give them back to him. And I actually didn't even know that I won the award until, you messaged me. And
well, funny. Yeah. I mean, I don't know what the process is as far as notifying you guys, but it's all good. You were, of the seniors in Tennessee, there's quite a crew of seniors that are talented and everything else. So to be nominated for the award and being amongst the best in Tennessee, how does that make you feel?
It feels great. I work towards that, and I strive to be the most dominant wrestler that I can, especially when I'm in the state of Tennessee. So it feels good that I was recognized by whoever nominated me and whoever chose for me to win this award.
Yeah, very cool. Very cool. So the award is not only for your accomplishments on the mat, which are significant. Anybody who knows you knows you've won multiple state titles in Tennessee and Fargo All-American and all of those different things. But it's also for your academics, which you just mentioned calculus. So that's probably pretty good, as well as community service. So can you tell me a little bit about your community service?
Yeah. So we actually have a class at our school. It's only for seniors. It's called a senior capstone, and you get to choose one job or career field that you'd like to, go and shadow somebody in. And I chose to just shadow under our youth wrestling coach, Coach Josh Boskin. And so I got to spend a lot of time being with the little kids and helping with the beginners program and the middle school program and all that stuff. So that was really good, giving back to something that I truly care about. And also we did a creek cleanup. We have this creek called Mouse Creek. It goes all the way through Cleveland. It's pretty long. So we went out there one Saturday, and for a couple of hours, I think it was from 8 to 1, we cleaned up the creek. We picked up all the trash and talked to the people that were walking by on the trail and told them what we were doing and how to get involved and, make the environment a little bit better here in Cleveland, Tennessee.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're a big part of, Cleveland is a tight knit, community. You guys have a good rivalry with Bradley Central, but it's you've been a part of that community and that program for a long time. So it must have felt really good to give back to the community and the program in the ways that you just described.
Yeah, it always feels good to know that, people look up to you and know that you're doing better, doing stuff to make the environment better and your culture better. So
yeah. So let's jump to when you were little. How did you start wrestling? What's the story there?
Really, it's kind of a funny story. My first practice, I played little kids football when I was 4 or whatever. Just go out there and run around. And my dad, I got home from football practice, and my dad called my mom. My mom gave me her phone. It was he asked me, he's like, "Hey, do you want to go to a wrestling practice?" And I told him no. I was like, "No, I don't want to." And he said, "Too bad. I'm outside. Come get in the car."
Okay.
That was my ever practice, and I didn't enjoy it. So this is funny. So I lived in Pigeon Forge for my youth life, and my first ever practice, a Pigeon Forge, the wrestling club, they split the building into beginner side and advanced side. And I was way bigger than all the other beginners. And Cooper Flynn was too mean for any of the advanced people to want to go with him. So they to wrestle with Cooper Flynn, and we were practiced for 3 years.
Oh, is that right?
So I got a lot bigger than him.
Yeah. Well, you were bigger than them then, right?
Yeah, I was probably the same size, but I'm a little bit younger than Cooper.
Right. Right.
But he used to beat the crap out of me as children. It was hilarious to think about.
It is hilarious because if anyone doesn't know and not from Tennessee, Cooper Flynn is now a redshirt freshman at Virginia Tech. He's a small little 57 kilo, and you're a heavyweight now. So, that's really interesting. And I actually wanted to talk a little bit about that process of you wrestled 220 for a long time. You're not a big heavyweight, but you knew you were going to wrestle heavyweight in college. Did you begin after your sophomore year thinking about trying to make that transition and start wrestling bigger guys?
Yeah, it was more after my junior year. I've always had room to get bigger. Like my freshman year, I cut quite a bit of weight to be in the lineup at 170 because we were pretty loaded that year. And so I got a lot bigger that summer. Naturally, I wrestled 195 at Fargo that summer, and I was kind of cutting for that. So we were like, might as well just go 220 for the Tennessee season. I had a decent season that year nationally too. And then COVID happened the next. I wrestled 220 anyways, and I was cutting quite a bit for that. I was like 240 regularly.
Okay.
For that. And so after junior year, after Fargo, I was like, I'm not doing 220 again. There was no point. It just wasn't fun anymore, and I didn't need to, and I knew I wasn't going to go 97, so I needed to wrestle some bigger guys more regularly.
Yeah.
So heavyweight was.
It was obvious you weren't going to go 97 in college. So I mean, and the gap between 97 and 285, and those 285s in college are huge. So, I can't let you get away from actually having a conversation a little bit about, for those of you that don't know, Ashton fell. What was it? It was it during COVID?
It was the day before I was supposed to start school. So me, another kid from my school, Logan Fowler, you probably know him.
Yep.
Stud wrestler. It was our last day of summer. So we were like, hey, let's go on a hike. So it was just him and I. We went out to a place called Benton Falls. It's not too far from here. And it's a waterfall, but there's like no water at the bottom. It's like all rocks. And so we were walking across, just enjoying it. We weren't doing anything stupid. And I slipped and I fell down the waterfall, as funny as that sounds. That was super difficult. That was the day before my first day of junior year. And I broke 4 or 5 ribs, punctured my lungs. I had to have staples in my head. My left leg didn't work for a while. I had to do like 3 months of therapy just to get my quad to be able to flex. And I had to have knee surgery. It was a long, long process. And then, all I wanted to do was get back and wrestle and be able to be healthy and do what I love to do.
Yeah. That's so scary. Just to give us some context, how far of a fall is that?
It's like 60, 65 feet.
Whoa.
It's like levels. So
did you hit on the way down?
I hit 2 levels before I hit the ground, the floor. And it's pretty painful. You don't say. It sounds like it's pretty painful. So what did, now that you can kind of reflect back on it and you've kind of, gotten back onto the wrestling mat and proven that you've healed and all those sorts of things. What's your kind of reflection of that incident and kind of, moving forward as it goes with life or anything else? Yeah, that's a tough question. I don't talk about it very much because a lot of people bring it up at school and stuff, like my teacher, my family. And I'm not big on like making excuses or anything. So the whole time, which sounds dumb because, it was a near-death experience. I was the only person to ever survive that. But I was still like, I can't use this as an excuse. Like I need to get back and be the best that I can. And at first I was really, really frustrated because I planned on going to Elite 8 and Super 32. And I was making strides and I felt like I was at the peak of my wrestling ability at that point. And I was just super down. And I was like, man, we didn't even know if I was going to be able to walk at first. And
right.
I was super tore up. And then once I knew that I was going to be all right and I was going to be able to get back into wrestling, I just used that to motivate me every day. And it's a good story to tell people to understand my character and the way I go about things. And yeah, it's a good story to tell. And yeah, I lived through it.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's very fortunate, but that is a fantastic thing. I'm so happy. I remember hearing about it and thinking of you. I think I sent you a message, and that was tough. So let's go a little lighthearted. I only got 2 more questions for you. Number 1 is, what's a talent that Ashton Davis has off the mat that nobody knows about, or very few people know about?
I have no idea.
Somebody helping you out?
Yeah, my girlfriend's laying on the couch over there.
Okay.
She said to tell you that I can do the splits.
That's a talent. Yeah, absolutely. So you're super flexible. Is it 285?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
And does that actually help in a lot of respects? I mean,
yeah. So, we had an alumni join our coaching staff this year at Cleveland he was just my partner every day. Wilson Benefield. He helped me a lot, but he's really quick to the legs and he always finishes on his feet, which is really good, but he struggles a lot. He's going to be mad if he listens to this. He struggles a lot taking me down. He even has my leg in the air from a single leg because I could stand up there all day. Like he could put my foot on his shoulder and I could just be standing there perfectly fine, not even bouncing.
See, yeah, I mean, that's awesome. That's awesome. Ask your girlfriend, can you cook?
She said I can cook. She can't. I love it.
Do you love to cook?
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. So last question, man. Since you're obviously a slacker in the classroom, I don't know that everybody knows this, but you are heading to Cornell in the fall.
Correct.
What was it about Cornell? You committed pretty early. I think Coach Cole was still there. Then it went to Coach Gray. Did that have an impact, or was it Coach Gray primarily? Go ahead.
It was Coach Gray.
Okay.
So I talked with Coach Cole a little bit, but it was like right before he moved.
Okay.
And still talking to me from Stanford before I committed to Cornell. But I don't know. I took my visit to Cornell. They're Ivy League and they're a top 10, Division I wrestling program. So if that doesn't, say enough for itself, I don't know what would.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
was it hard to pick them over another like Ivy League or another that level of a program?
So when I was talking to the coaches while I was on my visits, they were like, man, we've never had somebody that took the approach like you did. So I took visits to Little Rock and Campbell, but I also went to Penn and Cornell. So they were like, those are like so different.
They are.
Feel for all the different things and see what I like the best. And ultimately it was just Cornell. Awesome.
Well, Ashton Davis, you are the 2022 Dave Schultz Award winner. It's for the state of Tennessee. Congratulations. Fantastic season. Wishing you the best of luck as you head to Cornell and the cold of Ithaca, which is not like the cold of Tennessee. I'm just going to give you a heads up. But we wish you the best of luck, man.
Thank you so much.
You have a good one, okay?
You too.
All right, see ya. Bye.